did you do something like a part of Greece or something for one of your summer school plays?
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to School Lunch Program, a show where we talk about what was for lunch, what is for lunch, and what will be for lunch. I'm here with my friend Matt. Hello, Matt.
Hello.
And first reoccurring guest, my friend Andru. How are you, Andru? Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me again. I'm always happy to talk about lunch with two of my closest friends.
Well, so we usually start the show where we talk about what is for lunch at a current location in America or other countries in the world. But it is summer, which means we're talking about summer school. This is the summer school episode. Andru and Matt and I all went to a summer school in our hometown. And I would say it's different from what you would think a summer school is, correct? I feel like when I've talked to other people about summer school, they kind of think, oh, you were stupid.
Yeah, I feel like summer school for what we did is a bit of a misnomer. And in fact, I remember they very intentionally called it summer studies, which really isn't that much better. What I am currently working in right now for the school where I work is extended school year, which is what you would think of summer school and what probably most people would think of. What we did was like a summer enrichment, kind of like a park and rec situation, but indoors, I guess is the best way to describe it. So it was all like extracurricular kind of activities. It was basically daycare run by teachers.
Yeah, pretty much. Because usually the case in summer school, and I feel bad now that I said the word stupid, but usually it is like something if you don't do well in the regular school year, you might have to go back and do, take math again or something over the year. That is not what this was for us. It was all very fun extracurricular activities in a school, which was in our high school. But what age were we around the time when we were doing this?
I remember going through every year, elementary school and middle school, and then high school students could volunteer to assist in the classroom. So high school years, I was still there, but more as an aide.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But for actual students, it was elementary through middle, and I went every year. I don't know about everybody else, but
I only went 1 year. I remember being pretty old amongst the kids, but not like, I feel like I might have been like freshman to sophomore of high school, but it could have been like 7th into 8th grade or 8th grade into 9th grade. I don't remember what age. I remember Yu-Gi-Oh was big that summer.
So the classes we would take, I remember, was a dinosaur class, a model rocket class, a cooking class, a cartooning class. There's all this like cool, interesting things that we got to do. Andru, do you remember some other classes you took?
Yeah, so it's funny. You mentioned the rocket class and the cartooning class. I think those were the ones that everybody wanted. Yeah. They were the hardest to get into. I forgot about the dinosaur class. And that was one of my favorites. I remember there was a class all about Connecticut.
Oh,
where we would learn about the state, and we would take a trip to the state capitol.
Oh, cool.
And tour the capitol.
I didn't take that one.
Theater, which I did every year.
Of course, yes.
So we put on a production at the end of the 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Is that how long it was?
Yeah. There was a music class. I think there were sports too, like tennis. I tried tennis. I was awful at it. I don't know, Matt, if you remember any of your 1 year.
I think I did something with music. I remember that there were like 4-hour-long class slots, and that was pretty much the day. But the one that stood out the most to me was like Spanish. But it wasn't like, I don't know, instructional Spanish, but I remember like hanging out, learning the Spanish alphabet. I took French in the regular school year. So this is actually like my most formal Spanish education was in summer school. And I remember like very specifically the teacher, he was a Spanish high school teacher. But we had a classmate who I would later go to work with at a local business when we were in high school. And the teacher took apart his last name and said, this is the Greek word for rock and an English greeting, hello. And I'm going to call you this mashup of these words.
I took that it was like a foreign language class. So I remember that teacher. I remember he did French and Spanish. I remember one year taking that class. I was younger, I was elementary aged. He did a party at the end of the year, and like food, like Spanish, like foods and snacks and stuff. And I tried jalapenos for the first time. And I ran out the door and ran to the water fountain because it was so unbearably hot. And looking back, I'm like, oh, they really weren't that bad. But as a 10-year-old.
Have you heard, though, that like jalapenos sometime between like 10 and 5 years ago lost all their hotness because they bred them for agronomics? So maybe you were eating those whole hot old-fashioned jalapenos, and now you're eating mild jalapenos, and you're like, man, I was a wimp when I was a baby.
Hot old-fashioned. Yeah, so in the rocket building class, there was I feel like this was just a trend at the time when we were growing up, was like, you could buy these model rockets that had like little rocket engines that you could put inside them and launch them on like a launching base into the sky. And at the end of the school little 6 weeks, I guess it was, basically everyone from the school would come out and just watch everyone launch all their rockets, because we spent the whole 6 weeks building these models. That was like the coolest thing ever. I feel like, Andrew, we ended up going and buying our own rockets, like at the hobby shop, and just launching them in my backyard.
Yeah, we would do our own. I have a memory of working really hard. I picked a really complicated rocket, and it took the whole time. And then the first time I went to launch it, it turns out, because you have like the tube that you put it onto the stand. This one had separated rings, and you had to line them up just right. And I had not lined them up just right, so it didn't come off the launch pad, but the engine launched.
It kept like exploding.
So it burned a hole into my launch pad, fell over into the grass, and then the parachute just popped out.
I remember doing one, and the teacher was like setting it up for me, and then I like accidentally pressed the launch button, and it like shot off like right out of his hand, and it scared the crap out of me. I thought he was going to yell at me.
I guarantee. Well, no, there's definitely no way you were the only one that happened with. I'm sure. But I think, I know you said it was a trend. I have a different theory that I think he had just done this class for so long that the stores locally just stocked everything specifically for us, because
these kids keep buying rockets.
He just kept it in business. He kept that hobby store, the old one, in business, because he would just go there for tons and tons of engines and wadding and rockets. And I feel like if it weren't for that, it probably wouldn't have happened, but he had done it for 40 years.
Oh yeah.
Or however long it was.
I don't ever see those anymore. I remember the names of some of the rockets. One was called the Mosquito, and it was a little tiny one. I remember the Fat Boy, which was a really thick one.
No, I actually forgot about Mosquito until just now. That one was funny because there's no parachute in it. It's just you launch it with the expectation that it's never coming back.
Yeah.
You're just all right, see ya.
But the other class was, I remember, was Dinosaurs, and we just learned about different dinosaurs. I feel like every boy wanted to take that class. The cartooning one I was really excited about because I loved drawing, and you and me both loved to draw all the time.
I realized looking back that that class was incredible, not just the cartooning, but it was in thinking about education now and how different things are. We literally just watched Disney movies. Or cartoons, we'd watch the Powerpuff Girls and just draw.
Yeah, I remember watching Kiki's Delivery Service for the first time and drawing Garfield.
Yeah, she would just put a movie or a show on, and then we would just work on our. And it was everyone was quiet and just relaxed, and it was just it was so cool.
What we haven't talked about is we didn't have a lunch, but we did have a break for snacks. Andrew, do you remember this at all? Matt, Do you remember this?
I don't remember what I would have eaten for a snack, but I remember there being a long outdoor recess type period where we played Yu-Gi-Oh.
When we played Yu-Gi-Oh.
And I have no idea what I brought for a snack.
I have this is like, like you see, like you smell something and it makes you think of a certain time of your life. There is a very specific combination that I have not had this combination since. Fritos and canned Hawaiian punch.
Yes, I remember you had that. I remember, you used to get the canned Hawaiian punch.
Every time. I mean, I'm sure there are other things, and like, because they didn't really do soda, but they did. I think they did like iced tea and, they had Doritos and a couple other things, but I always went for the Hawaiian punch and I always went for the Fritos. And that's probably why I don't really have those things anymore.
Well, Matt, and Andrew, do you know, I brought a lunchbox today. I brought what I used to have every single day in summer school, which was Fritos and iced tea.
Nice.
Which used to be the Nest tea. I think it was the brand, but I don't think they make Nest tea anymore. This is Brisk, which I think is kind of the same idea, lemon flavored iced tea. And I have not had this combination, I think, since summer school. But this is exactly like, if I have this together, I feel like I'm gonna just have a burst of nostalgia. Take me back to sitting on a curb outside of the high school.
Yeah.
as a kid. I'm gonna try it right now. I'm gonna have.
I should have brought Hawaiian punch.
I wish I remembered that. I would have told you to. Oh yeah.
Fritos, I'm sure, are exactly the same.
Yeah.
They've not changed. I mean, I've had them recently, but
some iced tea. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely have not had this in years.
I'm going through the Wayback Machine. I found the 2004 Wolcott Public Schools website.
Okay.
And they do have a link, district programs, and there's a summer school link there, but it doesn't go to anything further, at least before March of 2005.
I remember getting the the catalog and like picking the classes we wanted, and like, because my siblings also went, and I don't remember all the class names or all the classes, but I do remember the music one was called Fun with Music. And the reason I remember that is because they misprinted it and forgot the H in with. So it was Fun with Music. And we thought it was the funniest thing. And they never changed it. So every year.
Fun with Music. That sounds so familiar. I think I took that class. I remember singing, though.
Was that the year we did the
King George?
Yep. The play.
What was that play?
I have no idea. It's probably some public domain, like, kids play about the revolution.
Yeah, it was a play about the revolution, and I remember there was a song about King George. And I have never heard that song ever since.
Nope. But I guarantee if you dig deep enough, the internet will provide.
Okay, I just found a blog, and it says, so in grade school we did this little musical kids play that acted out the American Revolution. I haven't a clue what grade it was, but it had to have been early, because I totally remember that we had a little songbook with the bubble letters colored in, presumably by me. It had stars and red, white, and blue and a flag, and I could swear it said something like Kids in America, Kids Sing America. I don't know. I just remember that we had to memorize all the lyrics in it. The thing I remember most, though, is a song we had to sing to King George with, with one of my boy classmates sitting on his throne. We sang him the Below, and if I recall correctly, we even had to point our fingers at him in time with the music, which I remember this. Yeah, King George, na 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 na. King George, what makes you think you can sit there on your throne? Why can't you just leave us alone? King George, na 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 na. I think it was like King George, na 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 na. King George. There's people who comment on this, and other people remember it. I think someone posted a link to something. Kids for America, a patriotic musical a lot of schools did in the 80s. Okay, I found it. Well, I found a 47-minute video of...
It's video?
Is this consistent with what you remember?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't remember this one.
Should I skip ahead to where this choir is singing?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, I found it.
There it is.
That's it. This part. Oh, that was it.
Wow. Better than I thought I remember it being.
Oh, so yeah. So you were in that class with me, I guess.
Yeah, and that was the year we did it at one of the elementary schools. And so like this gym, because it has to be in a gym, has a stage, but I remember ours didn't. So we were literally just on the gym floor. Like
Yeah, we were. I remember that. Yeah. Andrew, do I remember, did you do something like a part of Greece or something for one of your summer school plays?
Yeah, I got thrown in last minute to play Danny because our Danny didn't want to do it anymore. Didn't want to do it anymore. And in our incredibly low budget production of Grease with like cardboard cutout vehicles that fell apart on stage during the performance. It's very embarrassing.
It's okay to laugh about it now.
Yeah, looking back, I'm like, it actually wasn't that bad. But like in the moment, I'm just like, oh, this is awful. I also remember it was like so low quality that we were literally just singing to like the soundtrack to the movie. Like, but like with it turned down, so we were singing over the real words, and then like because the language in Greece is really inappropriate for they had to like turn it all the way down during all the swearing parts so that none of like the kindergartners would hear it. They're sitting like in the front row. Gosh. It was a mess.
How much of Greece did you do in a school program that was lasted only 6 weeks?
I mean, it was just like the main songs. I didn't even think we like acted out any scenes.
Oh, I see.
I don't remember if we acted scenes. I just remember like we did like the Frankie Valli theme from the movie, which isn't even in the musical.
In the musical.
There's reasons why that teacher was not asked back.
Yeah, I actually don't remember the other classes.
Oh, I remember one. Kids Law.
Kids Law? What does that mean?
Like that rings a bell.
Learned about law, and I remember like
I think I might have done that. I think we did like a mock trial.
You might have been in my class.
Oh, the mock trial. I remembered like taking my brother and I think our neighbor, who was the same age as my brother, down to like the Mad River at the end of the road and like staging them with ketchup and taking Polaroid photos. And that was our evidence for like the murder scene.
For summer school?
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh. So last time you were here, you said you'd come back and report on school lunch from your experience working in a school.
I like tried to poll some students about lunch. I might have it on my desktop. Lunch survey. Oh, good. I got my survey here. For what is your favorite lunch offering? I have listed here bistro burger.
Bistro burger.
Popcorn chicken. 2 votes for tacos. Someone just said they just bring their own lunch. Chicken tenders with mashed potatoes and corn, chicken nuggets, and General Tso's.
Okay, yeah.
What is your least favorite offering? 3 said pizza.
Oh.
2 said tacos, and 1, this is surprising, Bosco sticks. Now, here's why this is surprising. Towards the end of the year, I had to do lunch duty. We were down a few staff. And so the assistant principal, who typically does lunch duty, she had to leave. And she was like, okay. And she didn't explain why. She's like, what I need you to do is when the 8th grade wave comes in, just post yourself up right in front of the lunch line. And if anyone's like running, shoving, anything like that, send them to the back of the line. So, of course, kids come in, their tables get called up. This group of students that I had struggled with throughout the year, just barreling through. And it's because of the Bosco sticks. So 2 of them grabbed the same tray at the same time, and they were tugging, and I tried to break it up, and then one of them just took one right off the tray and just like took a big bite out of it. Just like right in front of them. So I kicked them both out of the line. It was a whole thing. And I'm like, that's the reason for this? Like, that's
Did
the
they
problem?
run out easily or something? Oh, wow.
There were like 2 left, and someone had gotten the second to last one, and then there was 1 left, and these 2 students were like fighting over it. And apparently this is a regular issue to the point where the assistant principal had to be like, hey, I need you to be a bodyguard.
That's crazy. But one of the kids you polled said that was their least favorite.
Apparently.
That's like me with the breadstick dunkers.
Yeah. And then I said, what is your favorite part about lunch period? Some said food, most said talking with friends, getting out of class, free time, not doing schoolwork, sitting with friends. What is something you would change? Free snacks.
Free snacks.
Nothing. Add Takis for a snack option. 2 people said that.
Great suggestion.
Takis are all the rage. More time. We shouldn't have a long class during lunch. I understand where they're coming from here. Our lunch block is kind of like how we did it in high school, where there's 3 lunch waves.
Yeah.
And that period is longer. So but we rotate.
Right.
And if you're in 6th grade, you have lunch and then you have an hour-long class.
Yeah.
But if you were in 8th grade, you have an hour-long class and then lunch. But if you're in 8th grade and you have English language arts, which is a double period, you can have English language arts for 50 minutes, then for 60 minutes, then you have lunch.
Whoa.
So I get it. So we shouldn't have a long class during lunch. They didn't like the way the tables are set up, and then free lunch, which was a topic for us last time.
Great. Yeah.
So that's my reporting back.
Wow. Thank you for doing that. That is very insightful. I just love some chaos over the Bosco sticks. I don't feel like there was that much chaos over any particular lunch when we grew up. Do you, anyone?
Not to that level.
No.
I did find, we talked about a sauce that was very popular that a student asked me for. It's called chicken dippin' sauce. I wanted to grab one and have it before coming back, and I completely forgot to do that.
It's called chicken dippin' sauce. Is it like labeled?
Yeah, but I'll never forget. Like the student, I had to get lunch for him, and he's like, "But you get the chicken dippin' sauce." Like he was very specific. All right, so I'm looking this up right now. It's made by it's Ken's.
Oh, is that the Ken's chicken dippin' sauce?
Chicken dippin' sauce.
Okay, well, we got to try that.
But yeah, that's that. And then for this summer, we have it's just snack and kids bring their own. But we have snacks in case kids don't have them or if it's not enough. So we'll do like smart food and like a few other things. And it's just someone comes, they don't have snack, we provide it for them. One thing I noticed today, one of my kids had his snack / lunch was an apple, a little bottle of like drinkable yogurt, which that's on its own, it's fine. But then he had like a pouch, like my son has, like a mixed like fruit, vegetable, whatever puree.
Oh.
And then a box of seaweed paper, like
yes.
like strips.
Yeah.
It was the most bizarre thing.
Is it like intended to be like a chip, or is it intended to be like wrapping for sushi?
No, they're like snacks. Yeah, they're like chips.
Yeah.
They have
He was eating
actually
them like chips.
Yeah, I can imagine such a product.
It's probably really good. I just was like, I've never seen that before.
I actually just bought some the other day, and they were chili lime flavored, so they kind of taste like Takis.
So that's probably why. And then also, so then this student finished, and then he was still hungry because he like didn't. So he asked if he can go get a snack, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll take you. Just you lead the way." And I thought he was going to the main office to get like popcorn over, but he went the opposite direction to one of the high school teachers' rooms, and she has a stash of Takis. So he went and asked her, and of course she knew exactly what he was in there for. And I was like, oh, okay, that's what you really wanted. Was I did see a Lunchable.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So that's a big one that's still around. And then Uncrustables are very popular.
Oh yeah, that is a popular thing I've seen.
The only other thing I'll say for summer is I did a part of summer that you guys didn't do. After summer school, I went to Park and Rec. The food was whatever we brought. Like they didn't really provide anything, but the ice cream truck would come.
Nice.
And so like it was
perfect
like
summer.
Yeah, and it was like I think the screwball one was probably the most popular. The one with the gumball at the bottom.
Oh, I remember not from summer school, but there was an ice cream truck that came past my grandparents' house, and my uncle was a character, a clown. And he would always get the screwball and talk about it. He's like, I'm a screwball.
And then they would have like SpongeBob, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like Sonic. And I would get the ice cream bar dipped in like strawberry shortcake.
Oh yeah, those were good.
And then I also tried like the toasted almond one. It was really good too. Yeah. But yeah, that was just like another like core part of summer. It was just like we'd be all over the park, and then we'd hear the bell, and just like everybody would just come running, and it was just it was good. Summers were good.
Summers were good. How about a big fat sandwich after dip in the pool, huh? Some like a nice turkey and cheese with some chips in the sandwich after a long hour or two in the pool.
Yeah, get your nice wet hands in there and make them all soggy and chlorine-y.
Mm-hmm.
And you were all about the salt and vinegar Pringles, and I for whatever reason couldn't do it. I can now. I actually like them now, but back then I was like, no. But I like the
That's
sour
another
cream and
thing
onion.
where I think they made them less intense than they used to be. Because I do remember also giving them to my grandma, and she was like, I cannot eat these. Salt and vinegar Pringles. Actually, I got it. I got to show you this. Hold on. Found this when I was moving out of my parents' house one time. So the original salt and vinegar Pringles can.
Oh my God.
This bright blue color. And you know what this was? Mm-hmm. It was a time capsule. And it had a bunch of articles that I clipped out from the year 2000.
I remember making that with you.
At some point I will I don't know where it is right now, but I will we can go through it sometime and look at all the articles that I pulled out. Well, thank you all for joining me for this one. This was such a highlight. You never know what you're going to remember when we do these things. So it's always fun to come out of it and get that nostalgia. Well, thank you everyone for watching and listening, and do all the other stuff too. Support your local lunch ladies because they're on vacation. Thank you and goodbye.